Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Shirley. I just want to introduce myself. My name is James Pierce. I've been a member of the Pharmaceutical Sciences Group now for a couple of years, and I've been volunteering my time to provide information to the industry around, I believe, important matters that affect the industry and drive it forward with regards to what's forthcoming, what improvements can be done, and how we can make better and safer drugs for patients and consumers. Today, I'm here to present Quality by Design and Drug Manufacturing Industry, an introduction. And for myself, I have approximately over 25 years of experience in the pharmaceutical biotech industry. My main background is experience with. I've done medical marijuana, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, consumers, and food. And I've had the opportunity to work at various companies. You've probably read my profile online. And today I'm going to present to you a webinar on Quality by Design, which I had an opportunity just recently to work on a project, QbD, where myself and two other colleagues went into a generic drug company to assess their Quality by Design process that they were proposing in place. And we provided our feedback and so forth. So I along with regulatory affairs, and I worked alongside of a subject matter expert, which was a process design engineer who actually had QbD experience from working on some projects in the US. And the other individual I worked with was a quality assurance specialist who's held positions up to VP level at some of the largest pharmaceutical companies in Canada. And he was our project president or our sponsor for this. So we worked closely together. So I thought some of the learnings I got from that and some of the other aspects that I've derived from my experience I can provide you today with regards to the background in QbD. And the presentation I'm giving you today is mostly based upon the presentation I kind of presented to my students at Humber College, and I was teaching there underneath the Faculty of Regulatory Affairs for product development. And I've added some additional slides on this based on my experience and based on certain outcomes and stuff that are evolving out there in the industry. Okay. So the objectives of this webinar, I want to cover off what the objectives are. Like the title says, this is an introduction. I'm going to be painting a pretty broad brush here with regards to some topics, with regards to some presentation of items and some key points. I'll be covering off these sort of items, what Quality by Design is, and its origin and concepts. So I'll be going a little bit off base, but it's important for us to cover these sort of things in order to have a good idea why we have Quality by Design today in the drug manufacturing industry. The next one is to how QbD is integrated in the drug manufacturing industry. And then the last one, objective, is we'll change how this QbD approach will change the future of how we manufacture drugs moving forward, because there's a great push with health authorities to reach a quality state. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. Now, one of the big objectives of this webinar is to establish the groundwork for future workshop webinars that we'll have here at the PSG around QbD or around other tools that are employed within the QbD program. The key thing is that these workshops will be based around maybe bench work for design of experiments, pilot scale manufacturing or commercial manufacturing for drugs, and maybe involving life cycle management. Around drug manufacturing. How do you do that? And I'll provide some interesting points around that throughout here, because life cycle management is one of the key important points moving forward with regards to QbD and how you manage risk and with regards to your manufacturing your drug product. Okay, risk in association to patient and consumer safety. Okay. Now, product development involves these particular stages of manufacturing. You demand for the product, you have proof of concept, you do your bench work, you say, oh, I can produce this stuff, and then you scale it up to a certain level using various pilot scales, and you go into preclinical trials, which is animal studies to ascertain any adverse event using even getting away from animals now, you can use tissue-based testing and techniques that are being morely employed for this. And then you get into clinical trials, which is in humans, the phase 1, 2, and 3. And then you get into your commercial launch and manufacturing. Okay, so basically QbD encompasses all this product life cycle from bench work up to commercial launch, and then it basically can revert back and to feed back into your development process for other products. And I'll talk a little bit about that, and that's around platform technology. Okay, similar technology used to manufacture various types of drugs. For questions today, because of the type of presentation I'll be doing, surely our PSG associate or attendant online will be taking your questions down, and I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Like I've indicated, my background is regulatory affairs, and key points that I was told by one of my ex-supervisors in regulatory affairs is that you know a lot of things, but you're a master. Told about that when you go into health authorities, be very careful answering questions. So if I can't answer your question directly and correctly, we'll take it down, and then we'll get a person who we know that is a subject matter expert in that area to answer your question. Okay, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I know the standard protocol is 24 to 48 hours, but you know, reaching out to people is sometimes problematic, so please be patient around that. Okay. So what I want to do today is just basically give you a story that you would tell about quality by design. I want to present what it is, where it came from, and how it's evolved into maybe a hot topic today, right? It's like data integrity. Data integrity has been around with us for 50, 60 years based on when the regulations evolved. But based on certain things that have outcome in certain inspections around the world, the term data integrity is just the bucket list for key items that some manufacturers have probably overlooked with regards to manufacturing the drug product that ensures quality, safety, and efficacy. And as such, QbD can be associated with a larger bucket list, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, okay? What I mean by that. So I want to tell you a nice story starting from the beginning and progressing up to a little bit more complicated with regards to how QbD is employed in product development. I know some of you may be experts in the field and you may not find this interesting, but like I said, this is an introductory course. I want to drive discussion, get ideas out there, and be collaborative with regards to how we move forward as an industry, how we can employ this, because there's still some confusion, there's still some questions, people are hesitant, and I want to cover all that off in this webinar, okay? So the agenda for today is quality by design, definition and origin, quality by design and its regulatory evolution, its integration into the drug manufacturing industry. You may be a little bit surprised if you're not familiar with that. Current regulatory landscape in the drug manufacturing industry around QbD, and I'll be focusing a little bit on my generic experience with regards to the recent evaluation we did for the particular company we did for, and also my other experiences and how I observe things working for other generic companies as a consultant or contractor. How QbD is applied by design, how QbD is applied, implemented in drug product development. And I'll touch a little bit on that. I'm not going to go into how you design experiments, how you really get in there and do the meat of things. I think that'd be better suited as a workshop and not. So we're looking at probably